there are 12 rookies that were drafted by the Colts in the 2023 NFL Draft, and I will be ranking them according to how impactful they will be in the 2023 NFL season. Just 23, just their first year, nothing else. So, Anthony Richardson would obviously be number one. Right now, he's not number one. Little spoiler alert. But we're going to start at number 11 because, Daniel Scott was drafted 5th round. He's towards ACL. Can't really rank him. It's not really fair. So, Titus Leo. He's from a very small school in Wagner. He's an edge rusher. Very little production. Didn't dominate. And, the Colts, on top of that, signed a few other faces and re-signed a guy in Tyquan Lewis. They did sign Samson Abukum, Jannard Avery. So that's bringing some competition to the room. So, I find it very difficult for Titus Leo to actually find a spot in this roster and even make the roster. So that's why I have him at 11. Again, it's not grading. It's ranking and who's going to be most impactful. And considering I don't think Titus Leo is going to make the roster, he's at the bottom. Because I have every one of these guys making the roster, maybe except for another one who's really on the bubble you really don't know about. But at the end of the day, you really don't know. Because a few years ago, the Colts did draft Sean Davis. He was caught. He was a 5th round pick and he was caught. And then you had Curtis Davis drafted in the 6th round last year. We thought he was a steal. He was cut. You never know. Some players, NFL teams see them very differently than we do. And there's a reason why they're doing it and we aren't. We just like to criticize them, have fun talking about it. So that's it for Titus Leo. I think he's going to be a practice squad guy. I don't think he's going to be starting at unless there's some serious injuries and the room becomes very thin. I don't see Titus Leo playing a snap for the Indianapolis Colts in 2023. So 11, right for me. So this is my list, right? I have a member who dropped their own list. So if you would like your list featured in future videos and have me talk to them and react to them, become a member and I will ask in the member category for you guys to drop, your lists. So if you like to be featured videos and get even more involved, that's the way for you to get involved. And if you enjoy it so far, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. Every fan is welcome here. Every fan. Just stay respectful. Number 10, Jake Witt. I have him at 10 because the whole line is horrific. Well, the offensive line depth is pretty horrific. There's not much, behind the starters. You may not even have a starting right guard who's capable. Right tackle and left, and other than right guard, starters are average or better. And behind them, there's not much. It's rough. So that's why I think Jake Witt does make the roster. And yeah, he is coming from a very small school, so competition is going to be a big bump up for him. Although he's very athletic, and he did change positions midway through him playing at that college. Very small school, as I mentioned, but he converted a tackle in an emergency situation, and he played really well for just moving a tackle, spur of the moment, and pressing. Very athletic, strong. So it's just the uptick in competition that worries me, and the fact he's drafted pretty low in the 6th round or the 7th. He was our last pick, so. Don't really know if he's going to make the roster. He may be cut. The Colts may like, these other guys that they have more because they just have faced better competition. And because of that, they're better and they're more ready. But I think he makes a roster just because of how bad depth is on this offensive line. So I have him at 10. He probably will make the roster, in my opinion. Number 9, Evan Hull. He's a running back out of Northwestern. So he was a great pick for where he was drafted. A lot of people liked him coming out, and I think he could be a good receiving back and a good running back. Obviously he's a running back and a good, just running. His running ability is okay. I think he's a more of a receiving back he could be for us, but he's competing with some serious talent in Zach Moss and Deion Jackson. I'm not saying JT. He's number 1. He's not beating out JT for number 1 spot. That's quite obvious. That's why I didn't mention him. Why did I have to go through all that? Let's move on. Evan Hull, a great pick. He has to compete with Moss and Deion Jackson, right? He won't make waivers if cut. That's where it becomes murky. You draft him pretty late, and you're really bringing in competition for Deion Jackson, maybe he can contribute on the special teams, which I am thinking Evan Hull is going to contribute on special teams. So that's why I think he does stay. I think he's going to be a special teamers. He might not, he's going to be listed as a running back, but considering you have 3 other running backs are already pretty solid, Evan Hull may be a special teamer. Now, if they don't see him that way, if he can't do that, then he's probably going to be cut. But on another roster, he's going to find another place to land because he's not going to make it through cuts. He's not going to make it through waivers, if they cut him. So, and remember, keeping 4 running backs, that's a lot. And then Chris Ballard and the Colts like to keep a lot of tight ends too. And the tight end room is very deep. And so, it's iffy. You don't know if you're going to keep 4, but maybe you take 1 less receiver and you add in a running back. Because, JT and, maybe you could throw Deion Jackson out there receiving. So, maybe you could figure something out there. But speaking of tight ends, we have Will Mallory at number 8. He's a nice prospect coming out of Miami, a nice receiving threat. I think he's a nice change of pace tight end. He's quick, get him up the seam, quick throws. I think he's that type of tight end. I think he could have a big impact as a 2 or 3. I think Jelani Woods has the number 1 spot. Now, training camp, you never know. Some players fight and some players become number 1, and you'd be surprised of who balls out. But I think Jelani Woods is going to be the number 1 tight end this season and beyond. Jelani Woods is high upside. Excited for him. So back to Will Mallory. I think he's gonna be competing with Colin Granson and Mo Cox, which I think more so Mo Cox's job is on is up for grabs more than Colin Granson's. Granson's dynamic. I like Granson. You line him up in the slot receiver. He's not that small. He's not your typical tight end size, but he's big. He's big enough. It's just you have, a lot of tight end talent here. You have Alec Ogletree from last year as well. Missed last year. It is his second year. He missed last year due to an ACL tear. He was impressing in training camp, too. The Colts just keep losing rookies to ACL tears or serious injuries when they're pressing in training camp. It was Daniel Scott this year, Alec Ogletree last year. I think it was Deion Kane a couple of years ago. We lost Darius Fountain. Always lose them, but it's football. The motto is next man up. You got to move on. You got to find someone to fill it. So he's competing with Alec Ogletree, Mo Cox for a spot. Will they keep 4 tight ends? If they keep 4 tight ends, he probably will make it. Big question to me, though. I don't know if they're going to keep 4. I think 3 is enough. But, Shane Steichen coming over, he's going to want to run the ball, pound the ball early, probably. So 4 may not surprise me. Will Mallory, I think he's a Maria. I think if he makes a roster, he will make a pretty impactful difference. I think he will make a pretty big difference. Number 7, he was I'm starting to talk about the player, and I'm not even telling you who he is. It might help you out a little bit. Jalen Jones, cornerback / safety out of Texas A&M. So Jalen Jones, at first, I didn't think much of it. He kind of grew on me. Watching a little bit of film, you see he's good with his hands, very physical. He seems a little bit, he seems like he's a little twitchy. He wasn't targeted much. He wasn't, he didn't have crazy volume in terms of being targeted. He had 240 some snaps last year. Not a ton, but it's enough to get some experience. And I think he's a cover 3 corner, which a lot of people will agree with. He's a cover 3 corner. Once he gets physical, he is very good at it. He's twitchy, can be a solid corner. Possibly can be a deep free safety. I think him and Rodney Thomas are kind of going to fight over that. Even though he's listed as a corner, the corner is what we really need right now. So probably going to stick with the cornerback spot. But safety and corner, pretty young, pretty thin. I guess we'll see what happens. But I have a number 7. I think he's going to be a good corner, and I'm excited to see what he has in store because this cornerback room is pretty thin right now. Your top 3 guys, your top 4 guys. You have Julius Brents, Darius Rush, Delias Flowers, Jalen Jones. That's the boundary. You have Kenny Moore in the slot. I think Delias Flowers is considered a bit of a slot guy right now. But at this point, it doesn't matter. We need people on the outside. And I think that's why I put him here at 7 instead of putting him down at maybe 9 and moving Evan Hull and Will Mallory up accordingly because of the Isaiah Rodgers situation and just how thin the cornerback room is. If it wasn't this thin, he'd probably be 9. I wouldn't expect him to make a big difference and play a ton. I expect him to play now quite a bit because of the Isaiah Rodgers situation, trading away Stephon Gilmore. The room is so thin, so he's going to have a chance to make an impact, whether it's positive or not. So I have Jalen Jones at number 7. Number 6, I have Blake Freeland, the tackle out of BYU. Is it BYU? Yes, it is BYU. Tackle out of BYU. He was there for 3 years at BYU. And he played pretty good football at 3 years. He was moved to left tackle for his last 2 years. First year he played left tackle. He was good. Last year he played left tackle. He was pretty damn good. And that's what really threw him upwards. Now he's big. He's huge. He's got good arms. I think he needs to improve his strength a little bit. And that's, the height and the size is nice, but that could also be a disadvantage because leverage is a big thing when it comes to tackles. The offensive line in general, you don't want to be too small, but you don't want too big because if you're too tall, there's no such thing as being too tall, but it's very difficult to get leverage on the guy that is lining up from you. It's very difficult to get leverage on him. So I guess we'll see how that turns out, but I don't see him beating out Bernhard Raimann. Bernhard Raimann has a year in the system. Yeah, he didn't start out very good, but as time went on, Bernhard Raimann really picked it up and really became something special. Towards the end of the season, he played really well. So that's to watch out there. Unless Bernhard Raimann gets injured, he's playing poorly, then maybe I could see Blake Freeland stepping in at left tackle. Now, if not at left tackle, if right guards, whoever the heck is starting over there, whether it's Will Fries or Wesley French, somewhere else. I actually don't think we have Wesley French anymore, but maybe his chance comes at right guard or right tackle because maybe the right guard struggling. They move Braden Smith in the right guard because that's what he played in college at a very high level, and I believe he could play at a very high level at the NFL level. At the time, he was moved to right tackle, never looked back. But if you need an emergency right guard, Braden Smith, move him in there, put Blake Freeland at right tackle, or vice versa. You keep Smith at right tackle, and you put Blake Freeland at right guard. I don't think either choice would be a bad one. It'd be nice to see Blake Freeland get some starting time. Now, like I said, unless Bernhard Raimann gets some serious, gets a bad injury, playing very poorly, I think I see Blake Freeland stepping up at left tackle. But that doesn't happen if Bernhard Raimann plays really well this year, doesn't get injured, and he's just playing really well. There's no reason to take him out. And then right guard's really struggling, and maybe he goes over to right guard, or, all this stuff happened with Braden Smith. Maybe he moves right tackle. Smith moves into the guard. There's a lot of possibilities for him, really. You could be versatile. So I'm putting him at 6 just because the offensive line depth is very bad. Just like I said about Jake Witt. If the offensive line depth wasn't this bad, I don't think he would make the roster. I don't think he would draft another tackle that late, but it's bad. And it's good to have another guy here just in case something happens, Blake Freeland and Jake Witt. But I think this really helps improve the offensive line depth. Now, interior is a bit rough, but we'll see when we get there. We'll see, man. Number 5, I have Darius Rush out of South Carolina. He's a cornerback. He's up here pretty high, and I thought the Colts really got a steal. I think it was round 5 they picked him, early round 5. Very good pick. I thought it was a very good value pick. A lot of people thought he was going to go a bit earlier, and he's a very interesting corner. I think he's going to be a good corner for the cover 3 system. So, of course, he's young, but he's got some nice size to him, and he's pretty fast. And as I've already mentioned, the cornerback room is so thin, whether he makes a positive impact or not, he's probably going to be playing quite a lot. And unless the Colts sign a veteran cornerback, he's probably going to be playing a lot. And whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, he's going to be making an impact. I think he's going to be all right, though, because he's been very impressive in OTAs, minicamp. There's been a lot of positive talk about Darius Rush coming out of OTAs and minicamps. So really interested about Darius Rush and to see him be put in a big role, a 5th-round pick. I think he's kind of a boomer bust guy, very athletic, as all of these guys are. This draft class is the highest RAS score in history. They've had the most athletic class ever, according to the RAS scale, since that's been around, which is, it measures their athletic ability. Darius Rush, 5. I think it's fair. He's going to get a lot of playing time. So this next guy here can be an incredible player and may eventually replace DeForest Buckner in a couple years. Right now, Buckner's a guy. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think we're going to resign him. He's going to stay at the Colt for a little while. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason for him to go ring chase because you have so much potential with Anthony Richardson. I think that gives him an incentive to stay and be like, yeah, let's stay here. We got a shot. Or if another team, no, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But I'll try again. Adetomiwa Adebore. Not trying to get, but he will rotate in often and early, and he will make explosive plays after up. He had a solid 40 time, 3-cone. This guy is so damn athletic, and he's smaller. It's easier for him to get leverage, like we talked about size earlier. He is a bit smaller. He's kind of a tweener. He can play edge and interior, but this kid really has the potential and the ability to be something special for this Colts team in years to come. But right now, he's probably going to play 20 snaps a game, maybe 20, 25, and he's got a chance to go and make explosive plays here and there. I'm really excited. He's a bit raw. He's got some work to do, but Adetomiwa, I'll try one last time. Adetomiwa Adebore. I think that's how to say it. You guys give me the pronunciation down below if you know really well. All right. Adetomiwa, he's going to be number 4, even though, you have Grove and Buckner sitting there at the starting, in the starting positions. You do have Taven Bryan, who I actually like Taven Bryan. I think that's a solid signing. That's a solid pickup in case something happens to someone or just a rotation piece. Adetomiwa is going to get some nice playing time, some good playing time, solid playing time, and he's going to make a difference. Adetomiwa is going to be a flash. Number 3, considered one of the bigger steals of the draft. Which Colts had a lot of them. They had a lot of them. It's Josh Downs. Josh Downs ranked very highly on PFF Sport at like 39. Pretty high on consensus. A lot of people would have said they'd take him in the second round, early second, mid-second. I've heard someone say they'd take him in the first. I thought that was a little reaching. But, Josh Downs, from where the Colts took him and the type of player that he is going to make a difference on this team. So pumped up for Josh Downs. The way he separates at a high level. Even though he's smaller, he separates at a high level. He's a good slot receiver. He's fast. He's quick, nimble. He's going to be good, man. He's going to be a good player for the Colts. And Anthony Richardson is going to love throwing to him. And as we know, the receiver room isn't great. And if Michael Pittman Jr. continues to have problems with his hip, he might be in for an even bigger role than we think. Now, right now, he is sitting. That's a little concerning. If you're losing Pittman and Downs for a little while, the room is going to be very thin. But hopefully, he's ready for the season. Hopefully, Pittman and Downs is ready. Pittman, Pierce, and Downs. I don't think that is a bad combination of starting receivers. Then you have Breeland, Doolin, Isaiah McKenzie. I think this receiving room is pretty good depth-wise. It's not top-heavy. They don't have that one receiver. It's like, right now, they don't have the one receiver that you look at and it's like, wow, he's good. He's elite. No. All the receivers are good. They do their thing really well. They all do different things, and they all do them at high levels. I'm interested to see. I think they're going to bounce off of each other and just work with each other very well. Number 2. This may come as a surprise, considering he was our top pick, the first pick in the draft, and he's a quarterback in Anthony Richardson. So the reason why I have Anthony Richardson at 2 and not at number 1 is because he's got a lot of development to do. And I'm not sure if he's going to start in week 1. I'm not sure. Right now, Gardner Minshew is listed as QB1, and it seems he has been working with the first team, so he may not start right away. And even when he does come in, he may not be that impactful as a passer. He will be very impactful as a rusher. But we all know he's got some work to do. And we're excited, and we know his potential. But first, we got to realize that he's got time. He's going to need time to learn. I already see it coming out right away. First, Anthony Richardson, interception. Oh, my gosh, he's horrible. What a boss. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. Whether they're trolls or not, those fans exist. And now, you just got to realize, the man's very inexperienced. He only started 13 games in college. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 years until he really becomes something special. Now, he's already going to be something special on the ground. And he's going to make big plays here and there. He's a home run threat every play, whether it's on the ground or throwing the ball. He's got a lot of work to do, decision making, just learning the game, learning defenses, and just getting that priceless experience in. Anthony Richardson at number 2. So you're asking yourself, who would make a bigger impact than Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, the guy drafted at number 4? I have Julius Branson number 1. I think Branson is going to be the most impactful as a rookie. He's either a boom or bust guy. He's built like Tariq Woolen, except for the 40 time. I got that from PFF. I saw that on the PFF when they were grading the Colts, and they're saying that he's boom or bust, and he's kind of got a similar build to Tariq Woolen. Now, I'm not comparing him. I'm not going to say he's going to have that type of year. No. But he is forced into the number 1 role right now. And yeah, they're all going to compete for the number 1. But Julius Branson being the second-round pick, being, his athletic ability is wild for how big he is. He's very athletic. He knows how to move. For being that big, it's impressive. And considering he's going to be number 1 or 2, he's going to get significant playing time. And he's going to have a huge impact on this Colts team. All right, that is my list. I'm going to put it here on the screen. Nope, I didn't put my list here on the screen. All right, but I do have my members list. Marshman, if you guys have been around the channel, have been to live streams, been around the channel, you know who this guy is. He's an OG. He's been here since the start, and since he's a member, I asked him for his list. I'm saying, hey, he's a member, man. Let's get our members involved more. They need to be involved more, and that he is. He was able to provide his list because he is a member. So if you would like to be featured more often, if you would like your list featured in future videos, that kind of stuff, become a member. Very cheap. I'm pretty sure I have like $2 right now. It's not very expensive. You get first in line for events, this kind of stuff. It's worth it, man. It's worth it. And I appreciate the support. Whether you do or not. Don't feel like you have to, but this is just one of the perks if you do. Marshman Gunners impact list. Rookie impact list. So these are the 7 that he gave me. Didn't really rank the other ones. It's fine. So number 7, he has Darius Rush. Likes Darius Rush. Thinks he's going to be, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 starters at the cornerback position. Will Mallory. He is huge on Mallory. He thinks that he's going to take over number 1 midway through the season. I like that. That's bold. And that'd be nice. I think he has the skill set to be a very good tight end. I just think that Jelani Woods has that, and I think he's going to maintain that. Number 5 is Blake Freeland. Then he's got Josh Downs at number 4. Anthony Richardson at number 3. So neither of us have Richardson at 1. And what I was saying about Adetomiwa Adebore, he kind of said the same things. He kind of read my mind. Adetomiwa is an incredible talent. He's twitchy, he's flashy, and he said, move aside, Buckner. Yeah. This guy has some serious talent, and he has a chance to take over for Buckner, absolutely. Number 1, he's got Julius Branson, just like I do. He's forced to start. He's crazy athletic. There is so much to like about Branson. Just, the fact that he's going to be the number 1 corner. He has good tape. He's going to be a very good zone coverage corner to start. He has a lot of man upside. A lot to like. So right now I am currently looking for the comment so I can read through some of the things that he said about these guys, because I should have had it pulled up, but I don't. All right, let's see. So he said, I'm not starting with AR-15. Starting with 6'3" Julius Branson, because wait and see. He's pumped up for this, man. He's pumped up, and he's going to take it. So, as he said, surprisingly landed him as late as we did. And he says, move aside, Buckner. He's high on Adetomiwa. I am too. I like Adetomiwa. All right, what do we got next? We got AR at 3rd. Josh Downs watching high. Yep, let's go. Height is no concern. As he said, height is no concern. When you can separate like Josh Downs could and just be as dynamic as he could, get him the ball, he's going to make plays. Freeland, 6'8" with 37 vert. Wow, upside. That's exactly what he said. I agree. 6'8". No, I just read that. Tight end, Mallory. He thinks Mallory's going to take over a top spot by midseason. Huge talent here. That's bold. That's bold. I like Jelani. I think Jelani is going to keep that number 1 spot. But he has Darius Rush as his last. He will emerge this season as one for position to watch out. Sneaky talent. I agree. Pretty good list here. Maybe I'd switch Darius Rush and Will Mallory. Maybe that's the only thing I'd switch, just because Darius Rush is going to be forced to start. Will Mallory has a lot of competition, which could also make him even better. So it's something to take into consideration there. So this is Marshman Gunner's list. So if you would like your list featured in the future in a video like this, become a member, because that is how you get that to happen. So let's get me back on the board. There we go. Oh my gosh, just noticed my camera is not on center or anything. Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on to have. And if you would like your list featured in the future, I'll take probably 3 at most for each video and talk about them a little bit. I'd like to see some bold predictions and your guys' opinions on the list. So, become a member. You get your list featured in the future. JDW Sports Talk Show, signing off.